And so I thought today it would be a great day to take the title, Is Our Mind Ageless? That's where I wanted to start, because I think we have an idea that our mind is something different than what it is. Ernest Holmes said this: the mind cannot grow old because there is only one mind which we all use. This mind has not been born and will never die. It is eternal. So what is he saying? He's saying there's only one mind. What is that one mind? It is the infinite. It is beyond description. Quantum physics would call it consciousness. Consciousness has always been. Quantum physics says it's the ground of all being. It's the source of all that is. It is from this consciousness that all is created. From it, out of it, and by it. And so in that, this consciousness does not know time. It does not know distance, because in it there is no time, there is no distance, because for there to be time and distance, there must be duality. And in the oneness, there is no duality, there's just one, nothing to compare against. So it's always the eternal now. That's why that mind is said to be eternal. It's always in the now. It can never be any place else. It's the illusion created by our brain that says that there's time and space. It's the human experience. It is not the divine experience. And this mind has always been and always will be. So it doesn't disappear. It's changeless. It cannot get old because there's no time for it to get old from. So taking that a little bit further, Ernest goes on and says, the reason why the physical body is not yet a year old and will never be is that the continuous activity of this mind in us that is forever dissolving and reforming our body. Now, he said that way back in the day. This is like in the 1930s he's talking this, right? And today we understand that the body is not the same, because a majority of the body, 90-some% of the body, every year is replaced with new cells, sometimes 5, 6, 7 times, so that the body that I actually started with on this talk is not the same body, because new cells have been brought in, old cells have been let go. And so what happens is the mind, not the brain, but the mind, is recreating this body in every moment. It's reforming it. So the body really doesn't get that old, other than the mind, other than how we use the mind to make it so. The reason why so many of our accidents and diseases are considered the result of psychological causes is that the only activity there is in us is the activity of mind through us. That's a fascinating way to look at it, right? The reason for so many accident diseases, psychology says it's a result of stress. It's a result of the activity of our brain, of our mind. And it's in us. And it's acting through us. The key thing is most of what we think is unconscious. And because it's unconscious, we may be creating that disease, that accident. Heck, my accident last week where I fell down, that was me not being conscious. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was not paying attention. I knew there was water on that garage floor. I had just put the extension cord and plugged in. Why wasn't I conscious enough to know not to turn quickly, trip on the cord, hit that piece of water, fall on my hip, and get myself into that state? It's because of my own thinking. Or in this case, my lack of thinking, or my thinking that wasn't aligned with being present in the moment. And because of that, the mind doesn't punish you. Does that make sense? The mind is the law of cause and effect. Whatever you give it, it gives back. And in the case, it's not like I told the mind, hey, mind, let Lee fall down. No. But I opened myself up to the law of averages. Meaning if I'm not consciously putting it out there, the law of average would happen. And so there was this water that not too far from my foot. Guess what? the average person would have stepped in that water and would have tripped, and down I go, you know? Our trouble is not that the mind grows old, but that we forget and we stop using it to create. Did you just hear what I said? The mind doesn't grow old, but we stop using it to create. And when we stop creating, I believe that's when we experience age. Because when we're in that creative process, there is nothing better. That mind, no matter whether I'm 2 years old, whether I'm 69 years old, whether I'm 125 years old, that mind will work just like it did at the beginning of my life. It will work at the end of the life. But now it depends on how am I using that mind. And see what happens as we get older, we stop creating, we start just repeating patterns over and over and over again. And when we repeat those patterns, we just recreate our lives over and we don't even realize it. And we've got to be willing to step out of the circle, be the observer and say, wait a second, this is not what I want to do. I want to create new. But man, in order to do that, it takes work. You see, the only thing that matters, that really matters, is that we live our lives 100% filled with joy, enthusiasm, and in our knowing and using this creative power within us. See, if you really knew that the power to create was in you, would you ever be sad? Would you ever be bored? Would you ever be disappointed? Or would you be seeking to use that power, to find a way to use that power, to accelerate the use of that power, to create greater relationships, to create more abundance, to create a life that just gives you so much juice? I'm in my mind going, this is sort of crazy. But you know, I have the availability now to become an Italian citizen. And all of a sudden that, not only, I would not give up my American citizenship, don't get me wrong, but I could have dual citizenship. And I'm saying, wouldn't that be interesting that I could be in Italy and not have to worry about anything? And you say, why do you care about that? Well, you know, when Jean and I were in Italy last August, I fell in love. I felt so at home in Florence and in Tuscany. And I haven't even been to Sicily where my relatives came from yet. And I'm just wondering, you know, do I use my creative power to create a life there some of the year and part of the year here? I don't know. But you see, I'm open to the possibility of something new. I'm not saying I'm going to stay where I'm staying forever. I'm always leaving myself open to discover new ideas so that I can have new experiences because I want to be 100% living this life to the fullest that I possibly can. The only reason we see ourselves as getting old is our lack of our ability to imagine ourselves as always young. Isn't that fascinating? We get old because we forget that we have the ability to imagine ourselves as young. You know, I go like this and I look. I put my hand out in front of me and I look. I said, when I look at that, man, I don't look that old. But then I look in the mirror and I said, where did these wrinkles come from? Where'd they come from? But yet, when I'm immersed in doing something that I love, when I'm immersed in building a talk, when I'm immersed in creating something new, I don't know what age is. I'm actually the same Lee I was when I was a young boy because I'm in that creative process. I'm in the now. And I'm always imagining myself as young. Why not? It's to stop thinking. The key to remaining young is to stop thinking about death and start focusing on living life fully and appreciating the here and now. See, most people are looking forward to something. I'm living now. I am talking to you right now, and there's nothing greater. I'm doing what I love to do second most in the world, teaching and speaking about how to better self-love through conscious living. I love that. And what came to me this week is Agape is about practical spirituality in an ever and forever changing world. That's what we do. We're a practical spirituality in an ever-changing world. Isn't that what we need? Something practical? Because our world is changed. And I'm going to invite you to let go of the past and let go of the possibility we'll go back to the way it was. We'll never go back to the way it was. We're going to have to create the new way. And I'm trying to create a new way that's better than the past. And so I want you to join me on that journey to create that new way. What does it feel like? What does it look like? How do we connect? I know, like this morning in doing meditation, I was connecting with people all over the country and Europe. I never did that before. So in meditation, we're actually all over the world coming together to experience oneness together. You see, as long as we continue to consciously create our life, we continue to experience our youth. In the here and now, where all creation takes place, there is no age. Did you get that? Right in the here and now, there's no time. And when there's no time, there's no age. So if we can remain in the here and now, in meditation, using the creative process, being fully present, age doesn't even come in. We never even think of death because we're so involved in the now. And then when death comes, here's how I look at it. And I got this from Abraham. I'm not going to take claim to it. But here's my life. Happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead. I'm going to go on living to the fullest that I possibly can live. And then in a moment, I'm just going to release this body and move on to whatever is next for my body. That's what I'm going to do. So, how old do you think you are? Do you really have any idea how old you are? I don't. I don't know how this entity, this essence, this spirit that is Lee is. If I'm created out of the oneness, then I've been around for eternity, and I'll be around for eternity. But in my human mind, I'm 69 plus years of age. But I don't look at it as bad. I look at it as 69 years of experience, and that I've got another 69 years to go. You see, because I believe my mind can allow me to do that. And I have a desire to experience so much more that I realize I'm not even halfway there. I've just really begun. So I invite you to join the journey with me and realize that you've just begun. And that there's so much more that you can do, and you just got to get excited about it. Can you get excited out there? If you're excited about it, write on your comments in the Facebook below. Tell me, what are you excited about? Email me. Tell me what you're excited about. rev.lee@agapecsl.com. Send me an email and tell me what you're excited about, and I'll hold that in prayer for you. How's that for an agreement? You tell me what you want, and I'll help you know it for yourself. And together, what a power we'll create. So know this, you don't have to go through life alone. It's a lot more fun when you're with like-minded people. And I want to tell you, if you're listening to this, Agape is like-minded for you. So this week, take a step, be bold, step into the future where no man or woman has ever gone, and be the better you. Until next week, have a great day.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.